That makes no sense.
There definitely needs to be an investigation into what happened there. A lot of speculation. It doesn't look good. I'm going to take Elon as the word that he offered. I mean, I don't see any reason why he would.
The astronauts even confirmed that he offered.
Oh, they did? Okay, yeah. I mean, I know that people were saying like unconfirmed if the Biden administration.
No, it was confirmed. They were like, that's their way of saying, come get me.
Yeah, please come get me.
They're like, I'm literally withering away in space. Please come get me.
They put their thumbs up. Okay, come pick us up. Freeberg, take us to the next story. And then we'll get a wrap here.
This is basically what I think is going to end up being the story over the next couple of years is the space race between effectively SpaceX's platform and technology versus China, which has effectively ripped off SpaceX, as this is kind of being described here in this article. So you can kind of take a look at the Long March 9 rocket, is what they call it. Fully reusable first stage powered by 30 of their particular engines. China has actually much more of an advantage in automation. And so if you look at many Chinese factories that everyone assumes are cheap because they have cheap slave labor, which is kind of the Western and general kind of media perception of what goes on over there, there's actually a lot of automation and engineering that's gone into building these systems that allow them to have much higher throughput at much lower cost. And I think that this is a really kind of key point, that the Chinese kind of industrial base and their manufacturing base is so superior to the United States in this moment in time that the US has to figure out a way to build its manufacturing base up to be competitive in an age of automation. Both. It means both. Yeah. But it's about smarter systems. It's about designs on how you do manufacture. It's about using new things like 3D printing, like automation, coupled with great labor, coupled with great people working. But it's about designing entirely new ways of doing manufacturing. And we've stalled out over the last 3 decades in the United States as we globalized and we handed off all manufacturing to the East. And the United States basically just imported manufactured goods while they invested in all of the infrastructure to deliver advanced manufacturing at scale. Otherwise, China will get ahead of us in any product faster than we will ever be able to kind of stay ahead of the game on. And I think we're seeing that in the space race now. And it's definitely worth taking note that this is kind of one core example of this advantage that they've developed for themselves.
I'm concerned about the cultural stuff of this. Like, America is so ill-equipped, especially with this wave of the last 8 years of DEI and how it's infiltrated all of our institutions and how we raise our children in this country. Like, we taught them that math is racist, while China is, their kids are the leaders in AI. DeepSeek should show us that, we have underestimated China every step of the way. And I think it's just a tragedy. I'm working on a book that's coming out called The War on Science, which will actually expose, a friend of mine wrote it. It's a collection of essays, exposes just how entrenched this became in every institution, from medical, science, et cetera. Like, how do we recover from that is how we can compete with China, because otherwise we can't.
I mean, in San Francisco, we saw it up close and personal, right?
Right.
They banned AP math. I mean, what lunatics could ever... I mean, I guess the lunatics in San Francisco could literally justify that it was, some massive inequality that the smart kids got to take harder courses.
Flash the thing, the poll from NBC, Nick. We know who was responsible for it.
Are you blaming white women? College-educated white women?
I'm just saying, look at the data.
Okay.
What is going on here?
For those of you not watching, it's voters' opinion.
What does that do?
What does that do? What does that do to your self-worth? Yeah, your desire to actually do anything in society.
We have to fix that. I actually think it's one of the number one issues in our country is to get kids excited about being Americans again. And I think SpaceX could be one of those unifying messages where we bring people together and we encourage kids to think bigger about the future.
I'll tell you one anecdote. I have been hanging out at UT a little bit, at the University of Texas, and go Longhorns. And I've had 3 or 4 people of means, I'll say, people who could afford to go to any college, ask me, do you have any hookups at UT? I want to take a tour. I want to check this out.